What's up, boys and girls? How you all doing? I hope everyone is having a great time and happy Chinese New Year to all those who celebrate it as we speak. I was just hearing some fireworks, that's why I just delayed the stream. So once again, happy Chinese New Year to everyone who celebrated. And now we are finally here with the grand finals of the Rising Stars 3T tournament. Hey Grigor, how you doing, man? And this is the first match. It is the best of 5. And these two teams have already played 2 of their games. So I will be casting these 2 games for today. So, and then after that we have to wait for the rest of the games to be played until we can get the result of the tournament. So anyways, as usual, I hope you guys will be enjoying the casting, and also make sure to tune by until the end of the video to see which of these teams will be dominating the other. Alright. If you hear some background noise, don't you worry. It's just fireworks. There's just a lot going. So, I mean, people here kind of celebrate it hard, so that's how it is. But then again, back to the game. I'm alright. Thank you, Grigor. So, this game we have Fregon and Lady Malfoy as Sweden and British. And on the other side, we have Peyhah and Maul as Germany and Indians. So this will be a really nice match, an interesting one, surely. And we'll get into the things and the plans that they have very shortly. But firstly, let's get into the decks. As usual, we'll just check the player decks and see what do they have. So Swedish is going out of natives, as it can be seen. He got the double nat cards, the infinite nat cards that are really useful actually. These Wittelsbach mountain troopers are really amazing, since they have a high range and also promotion ability. They are a skirmisher unit as well. So basically they will be just sitting just behind your Carolines with their long range. So as long as you protect them with your Carolines, you can just stack 2 or 3 of these shipments and keep them constantly alive during the fight, which will be really strong, if I'm being honest, because neither of these, they cost pop. So if I'm not mistaken, you can send this shipment 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. And then of course he got the 8 Wittelsbach Dragoons as well, which are quite nice, almost like the Hackaplates, but then they don't cost pop. So obviously a really solid choice here. He doesn't have the mercenaries, and let me check actually if he aged up with the Wittelsbach as well. It does not look like it. So he didn't age up with the Wittelsbach allies. He could potentially do that and get those extra Wittelsbach ally for the start fight. And since he's not aging up with the mercenary contract, because he's not going for the mercenary strat with Sweden, he could potentially go for that. But it is fine still. He aged up with 2000 coin, I believe. And that will be really useful, surely. But other than that, the deck is really standard. Nothing too fancy or special about it. With the current meta of Sweden, this is a really solid choice. And now we move on to Lady Malfoy's deck. So she got the British. She's going with the natives. And also got the South Sea Bubble trade. It's a really interesting choice actually. I mean, kind of makes sense since she's planning to go for the natives. She can just purely go into gold completely Looked like she also used her factories on food as well, which is actually not bad, because usually British and natives, they will drain really fast. But what she could also do at the same time was just put the factories, or put factories also on gold, and then since she's not chopping at all, she could just trade with Sweden as well for extra food as well. That would have been a really nice choice. Actually, I'm kind of disappointed she's not going for that. I don't know, maybe she is going for it, but by the look of the amount of coin she's gathering, and she hasn't sent the South Sea bubble card, I would say she's not planning to do that. But yeah, there we go. So 54k coin is going to be traded for wood, and that's going to be a fair amount of wood. If I'm being honest, she won't have any sort of wood issues until probably the end of the game, unless the game goes really long. Then eventually she has to go for some chopping, but then this will be a fair amount of wood. There we go, 70k wood in the bank. She still has to place military buildings and do the upgrades, place couple mills as well, because she will need it eventually, since she's using the natives once again. British is really food heavy, especially in natives, so she's gonna spare some wood for those as well. But overall she will be fine. I don't think this will be an issue. And in terms of the team composition for these two, Sweden and British, is one of the, I would say, most standard civilization composition in DE, since you get the team rum distillery card. It will stack with Sweden, so you will get that extra juicy gather rate on the plantations. So you will have 1.58 coin per second on for each settler in the plantation, which is really useful, since you're going to trade. It will help you to have a better boom. And of course the team musketeer will stack for the Carolines, and also the team heavy infantry gonna stack for the British Red Coast, and also the Huminkas for this case, since she's using it as well. Hey Peyhah and Mol, I don't think they're in chat yet, but they will be here eventually. So I mean, since we are here, might as well just check this layout. I like this a lot. So by the look of it, looks like Fregon gonna line up in natives against Peyhah's native. So Peyhah is with Germans, and look like he's going to be lining up in the native, since the military buildings are there as well. And there we go, some extra fireworks background. Once again, happy Chinese Year to everyone who celebrated, and I hope everyone is having a great time with their family. And back to the game. So yeah, it seemed like Fregon is gonna line up in natives with Sweden and try to hold potentially. And on this other side, Lady Malfoy gonna be playing out of natives with natives. So that's gonna be a really nice move by them. Props to them for this move. And as it can be seen, their base is quite safe. They have military building pretty much everywhere. Oh, you were about to message me? Yeah. Yeah, it looked like their base is quite safe with this setup. They have military buildings everywhere. I would say the weakest point about their base is gonna be this part, since neither of them are really chopping. So as you can see, all these wood are just kinda blocking any sort of military building that they could potentially place in these situations, in these positions. So obviously it could potentially cause some trouble for them, but then at the same time it might be well as well. So I don't think that will be an issue anyhow. So let's see how this will go for them. And just if anyone inside the chat could let me know if the stream is lagging or not. If the stream is by any chance lagging, let me know so I can try to adjust it. If someone can let me know, it will be really nice, because in my screen that I'm seeing, it looks smooth enough, unless for this moment as we speak. Seems fine. It's a little laggy. All right, so if it continued to lag during the game and fight, just let me know so I will try to adjust it. I mean, for me, as I've said, it looks fine, but it could, I mean, except for these spikes which you see here and there. Oh, apparently they have lags in their game. But yeah, just let me know in advance so I can just try to fix it during the fight. All right. Now we move on to Peyhah's deck. So, quite interesting. He's got the Royal House card. I'm pretty sure he will be going for the House of... Oh. Wait. Don't tell me he... Did he select the Hanovers? I don't think he did. I think this is from the Age Up. Probably. I don't suppose he has sent the Royal House card, but I don't suppose he has chosen. Well, I mean, I can just check if these cost pop or not. Yeah, it doesn't cost pop. So he didn't select the House of Hanover. So I was just wondering, because the House of Hanover was banned for the tournament just because of the drummers. So he's not allowed to choose the House of Hanover. I would say he would go for the House of Wettin. He got the Dobbs as well. He could throw some nice melee push with those gendarmes and the Riddlesbach halberdiers. With the Wettin halberdiers, and also the 2-pop gendarmes. It's gonna be really strong and solid, even though Fregon is having Sweden there, but still those 2-pop gendarmes have so much HP, and of course the Dobbs are in melee, so they could just cause so much trouble. Considering Peyhah has already joined the fair trade as well, I guess he would have the ability and potential to just do a massive will delete and just throw that extra pressure on him. That would be really nice shortly. The game is kind of spiking a lot. Not really sure what is the reason for that. But yeah, other than that, the deck is really standard. So he got the Dobbs as well, since as I've said, he's going for the Wettin ally, so he's trying to mix those doubles with the Wettin units to throw that melee push potentially. And now as for India, his deck is rather standard, looks alright. Got the Good Trade Agreement as well, got the Royal Mint, which is kind of unnecessary, but I guess since he wasn't allowed to use the new H4 C4 card, cheaper C4 card, I guess that's the only reason he went for the Royal Mint right now. But then again, it's completely fine, doesn't seem that bad. I guess this is a really nice backup for late game if your coin is drained, but then other than that, everything else looks just fine. One thing I wanted to highlight here, so since India has rice paddy, I'm not really sure why they didn't just build those extra life rice paddies. Oh my god, did I say life paddies before that? I'm not sure why he didn't build those. Oh, there we go. That's a really early build delete. I mean, you could really just delay that. It's already, I mean, it's 2 minutes left until treaty ends. Honestly forgot. Oh, makes sense. So apparently they forgot about making the rice paddies. Of course, you cannot use the settler wagons on the rice paddy. I mean, you could, but then this card only boosts the settler wagon gather rate for the mills and estates. So if you're planning to switch the settler wagons into rice paddies, they won't get this extra 35% bonus. So might as well just keep the settler wagon on the mills. But for the regular settlers, obviously the rice paddies are the better option. All right. Ooh, interesting choice. Interesting choice. I would say actually this is a really good thing that he did. So he went with the Wittelsbach allies since he's facing Sweden for the most of his fight. It makes a perfect sense, but I would say if he was against British, the Wettin allies would have been better, but obviously against Sweden, these mountain trooper and also these one pop Chevaliers, which are a dragon unit, they're really helpful, and they just helps you to just deal with Sweden army just nicely. Really nice choice by Peyhah here. I really like the fact that he actually paid attention to the matchup and he went for the House of Wittelsbach. And let's just quickly check the scouting before we get any further into the match. And then, yeah, in terms of scouting, does it seem like Peyhah and Maul actually did any sort of scouting except for the I mean, they know the factory's position and stuff, but I guess ever since the moment they started to wall, they didn't actually try to scout. So they do not know that this weak point is existing here. This could have been really nice point for Maul to run and try to cause some chaos. Since he's on Indians as well, it's going to be really annoying to deal with any sort of run into this position since there's not that many military buildings nearby. I mean, there are just military buildings on the flank, but inside the eco there is not much going on. And let's just check into others team. Looks like Lady and Fregon also spotted the factories and the wonders, but in terms of the walls, they really do not know. I mean, they could kind of predict what's going on here, but they do not know what's going on here. So they could potentially think that, all right, so we could just try to make some pressure at this point. There's nothing going on here, while there are plenty of military building, I would say, from both players, which is really nice. Nicely set up there. But then, I mean, it's just 5 walls. It's not like either of them, either British or Sweden, have the ability to apply any sort of pressure, since Sweden also doesn't have the giant grenadier inside the deck, so he won't be able to apply any sort of pressure into that point. But then it's all right. They already know the main factors, which are the factories and the wonders, and I would say that's kind of enough. Look like this start fight is gonna be really interesting. I'm pretty sure Germany would stomp this start fight as long as he doesn't walk out with the horse art into these coverings. He would be fine. And on this side, look like Maul is already trying to gain the position for himself. The gendarmes are already inside the native. They're just going straight away for the native foes. It would have been really nice if he could potentially send some seafoys as well at the same time. And as we speak, Maul has already spread out all of his seafoys all around the map. He's trying to make a position for himself in the corner. And now, even though Lady Malfoy got plenty of mortars just ready to shoot the military buildings of India, but still that's not enough. Looked like Maul didn't actually go for the nat pose. He just tried to go for the settlers, the initial settlers that Fregon had. Oh, there we go. Some stuck pikes. That's a panic click there. And I guess that wasn't really terrible for Maul to use his gendarme. He could potentially just go for the native to deny the natives, but looks like just fine. And Lady Malfoy is already drag boxing all of her units to the other side of the map, and meanwhile Maul is just running out everywhere. Just trying to find the path for the middle as well. Could potentially throw some forts or castles in the middle and then try to use them as well. What was Fregon's score at 40? We will check just after the game. I didn't notice, to be honest. But I would assume it was like 220 plus, because right now he's on 217, considering he lost plenty of units. But wait, did Peyhah send a line infantry shipment early? Such a chat. Such a chat. I loved it. He even sent a line infantry on the start. Such a chat move. I loved it. It was 220k for Fregon. Thank you, Gregor, for the confirmation. Alright, look like Lady with the natives is actually trying to take the control over the other side of the map from India completely. Those extra native units are really coming handy for British to deal with India's runs, and still Maul is finding his path into everywhere. Let's just check the resources. Everyone is looking just fine. There's no pressure on either players, at least for the time being. There we go. We got one castle being set up. I don't think the castle will be finished. Yeah, there we go. Just before it gets up, the Seafoys were sniped. And got a bunch of other Seafoys there. Meanwhile, back to the natives. Look like Peyhah is just trying to apply as much pressure as possible. Fregon's score is really tanking. But this is actually a really interesting setup. I would say I've done this before, and it's kind of annoying how Sweden can just hold a position like in a choke position without natives against a civ like Germany that is not that aggressive. I mean, I'm not sure how many settlers Peyhah builded it. He got plenty settlers. He's on 63 settlers. I guess he didn't go that aggressive. But still, as I said, Sweden is just a really good civilization to hold a position, just because of their Carolines and artilleries. They will just deny any sort of early pressure into a point. They can just hold the position nicely most of the time, except for few cases. But then look like Maul is just going ham with the flat elephants. Lady is just moving in with the double mortars. She probably needs more Himinkas here. Apparently they had a pause as well to deal with the lag, and now they just on pause. Look like the fight is going really rough for Fregon. Peyhah is just pushing this really nice and slow. All these this is what I was talking about earlier. These one-pop Chevaliers are really amazing against the Swedish army, especially the Hussars and the Carlins, since neither of these have are a counter to Dragoons, and since these are like one-pop unit, this is a really nice and solid unit for the Caroline and Hussar composition. Ooh, look like Maul tried to sneak some Seafoys into the native, but I don't suppose they will be doing anything. All the Seafoys are dead anyway. Just place the military buildings, but he couldn't actually get there. And as we speak, a triple castle is being placed next to the choke point and is just trying to squeeze himself into the native. 2 rocket shipments have dropped from Maul on this side of the map. It's really interesting, both British and India have these rockets and they're just gonna throw it at each other. It's gonna be really interesting and funny to see both of those. Look like Fregon actually had some units on the side to help. And at the same time, Fregon actually have a really nice setup in the native, but then again, since he's playing against Germany with native, obviously that's not an easy thing to try to hold the position there. But then again, he's doing just nice, just tower camping with the walls and military building. But look like Lady needs to put more pressure into Maul on the other side of the map, because Fregon's score is really tanking hard. Thank you, Edgy, for the raid. Once again, we are here with the finals of the Rising Stars 3T tournament. This is the first game between Maul and Peyhah and Fregon and Lady Malfoy. Look like Maul is actually trying to put up a nice pressure into this corner of the map. And it doesn't seem like Lady Malfoy has any sort of settlers on the other side of the map for backup. There is no native embassy on the other side. She's just trying to place one. The rest of the natives are just coming from, I don't know. Oh, there we go. That is the only native embassy that she has, so probably that's why that she cannot put extra pressure into Maul's India. And as we speak, Peyhah is almost breaching into the native. Fregon is just trying to wall and close the flanks into the native, because obviously he does not want either India or Peyhah just find their way into the native. He's just trying to protect the native with his life. And as we speak, Maul already have 4 rockets and 3 siege elephant. This is a really nice unit composition here by Maul. I would say as long as he protect these 3 rockets, he would be just fine. But there we go, 2 of them are already dead. I guess Lady Malfoy just right click into those units, and Maul is going to the other side. Look like Lady is just panic spamming the cavalry on the corner, and middle is kind of painted. Nothing will be really going in or out from the middle. And at the same time, Peyhah is back on the native with more mortars. Is just trying to push in. Fregon got 4 coverings. Just trying to snipe the mortars, but those Ulan and the Huminkas are just taking care of them just nicely. Back to the other corner. Look like Maul is just having a really nice setup here. He already set up a zoning wall for Lady Malfoy's unit with this. Was this the only settler doing that? That was such a nice move by Maul. Probably he needs to get rid of this wall as well, because this wall is kind of dividing his artillery pieces, and Lady Malfoy could just potentially throw some hussars into these, and that would just do them just fine. Look like as we speak, he's just trying to deal with that wall, and the wall will be going down regardless. Wait, did he just drag box all of his units out of that wall? Oh, there we go. Look like Lady Malfoy is just trying to set up the walls once again, but obviously he needs... Did Peyhah just right click to War Wagon into corner and just drag that many units? That was such a nice move by him. And also some overcommitment by Fregon for just pulling so many units on top of those war wagons. That was kind of unnecessary. Back to the corner. Fregon is still sorry, Maul is still trying to push in. Look like Lady is trying to snipe the military buildings of India with a couple mortars. The mortars are just getting sniped because there is nothing really protecting them. I'm assuming Lady Malfoy is dropping in food. Yeah, her food is kind of looking low for the time being, but I would say it would be fine. Let's check Fregon's score. Oh, Fregon is really looking low on coin and wood as well. I guess he won't really need the wood because he's not using the natives, but obviously the coin is not really looking good and could potentially cause some trouble for him really soon. Maul already Peyhah already sniped one of the natives of Lady Malfoy, and Lady Malfoy instantly used the auto capture feature for the native embassy and trying to rebuild the native once again. Hey Francisco and Frozen, how are you doing? We are back in the action. There we go. Lady Malfoy is at the situation where she's just spamming the rockets. Let's just double check if she has sent all of the card yet. There we go. So she's in the situation where she can just spam the rockets now onwards, and that's going to be really helpful. Look at these. Look at this difference between these two rockets. Imagine your own rockets are weaker than a rocket from the consulate. I guess the I mean, I don't get it, to be honest, really. How is this possible? I guess... Wait, does she have advanced arsenal? Oh, there we go. Some flail elephants are just getting in, trying to find a way in. But obviously they won't be getting anywhere. Just trying to deal with some military building. I guess that would just do just nicely. The rockets from Maul are already dead, and he's just running into the native. This is just the perfect position for Maul to cause more chaos. He already have a barracks as well in the corners of the natives, so he could just go fully all in into the native, and if he does that, Lady will be kinda in trouble because majority of his her units are just in the corner on the other side of the map, while Maul is just trying to apply the pressure as much as possible. Looks like Maul is just trying to snipe all of the military buildings from Fregon with the flail elephants, so as soon as those are down, they will be able to set up a really nice camp just outside their walls, and that's going to be really annoying to deal with. Two torps are here in the native. I wonder if he just placed them after the fight or during the boom. I didn't really pay attention to that. Looks like Maul is trying to slow down on this side of the map, and at the same time he's just trying to go all in the natives. He's trying to snipe the native post, but I don't assume he will be successful. These triple outposts are doing really nice for Fregon. They're just setting up a really nice tower shot and trying to defend the native post just nicely. Lady Malfoy already got the other natives. I guess Peyhah didn't notice that she rebuilt the other native post once again. Scores are not really looking for Team Fregon and Lady Malfoy. Fregon is really looking unhealthy right now. This coin is just completely drained. And got plenty of food left, but soon he will have issues as well. Assume his settlers are also not upgraded on the mills, so yeah, there we go. As we speak, he's just taking the upgrade for them. He could potentially ask food and wood from Lady Malfoy, but and even coin, I would say. I don't think Lady Malfoy have coin issues. She will have food issues very soon, but for the time being. Let's just check if the settlers are upgraded. 1.54 on food for British. And looks like they already have the control over the natives. The native post is already down. The Maul is just trying to squeeze his units out of that position. And 4 heavy cannons from Peyhah is really looking scary right now. Those hussars are just on top of them. I think 1 heavy cannon will be going down at that point. There we go. The rest of the hussars are just dead, but 3 heavy cannons are still alive. He will be just fine. The other native host is still alive. Fregon could potentially set up some military buildings in the other side of the native and try to snipe the military buildings of Maul outside these walls with some mortars. That would be really nice. Any more Disney queens? Nice name there. Nice name there. I have to admit. Wait, is my chat box off? I don't think my chat box is off. I have it just there. All right. No, I just wanted to double check. I just want to double check. All right. Back into the fight. Oh, there we go. Lady Malfoy already just suicide bunch of units, just killed them, so she can just replace the unit on the other side of the native. Meanwhile, Maul with the 4 rockets and 5 siege elephants, he's just going all in into the artilleries. He would potentially need some more C4s to protect those artillery pieces from hussars, because there is not many units in front of those, so they could be flanked easily. But as we speak, are these upgraded? No. That was another panic plague. So we got some really nice solid stock H2 Rajputs being played by Maul. And now he's back into the fight. Just trying to siege that. I guess as soon as he breaks those walls, he could potentially just run in with a bunch of C4s and then throw the ceasefire and try to run into the eco. Oh my god. Is Fregon training all of his units from here? Oh god. I mean, he doesn't really have any other option because there is no space whatsoever, and Lady Malfoy cannot delete these houses. Just because it's British, you are not able to delete the manors. So they're kinda in a really bad position. Doesn't really look that good for them. And got a bunch of units here. The lag is starting to hit. So many units in the screen. The game is struggling to render almost. There we go. This is kind of looking good. Maul should be trying to get rid of the walls instead of hitting the units with the siege elephants, but then they're kind of doing their job for the time being. And it looks like Maul is just completely left and abandoned the other side. Still got these triple racks on the other side. If he wants to shift over, he could potentially do that. There we go. Look at these 6 rockets. Did he send another? No, he didn't. I think he sent a wood shipment, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. This is really looking promising for Maul and Peyhah. Peyhah got 2 mortars. They're not unpacked yet. We could just try to unpack them and cause more chaos. But all of these infantry are just getting shredded by those 6 rockets and 4 heavy cannons. There is no chance they can just walk in with any sort of infantry toward those units. And there we go. As we speak, Fregon already popped 5 culverins. Will he be able to snipe those artillery pieces or not? Will be the question here. But he's trying to snipe. He already sniped a couple siege elephants. And look at these. Mountain Trooper with 23 range attack and 2.1 rate of fire. It's really looking good. And there we go. Lady Malfoy is out. And this will be the GG for the first game. And against Fregon is just still fighting to death to the last minute. And there we go. I don't think Lady Malfoy dropped out. It was a resign. I mean, it was not much that they could do at this position, to be honest, but can you just leave, Fregon? So I can just check the graph. There we go. Alright. Wait, what if I just... Ah, there we go. He's out. He's out. There we go. Alright. Okay, so... Yeah, let's just check the resources. Wait. Lady Malfoy also tributed 20k to Fregon. I mean, to be fair, she had to because she was using nats and Fregon was holding no nats. Without nats, I mean. And that's a fair point. Oh. Wait. I wonder if Peyhah feed Maul right after. I didn't notice. I have to check the score graph. The KD is looking really promising for Maul. Those rockets paid off big time. With the positive KD against British with natives. And same goes for Peyhah. Obviously, Germany versus Sweden. Like 99% out of 100 time, you will be getting the positive KD. And since he was using the natives, that's just going to be even worse. And in terms of the combat XP, looks like Peyhah was leading really nicely. After that, with Lady Malfoy and then Fregon. Let's just check the score before we move into the next game. So, someone was asking Fregon's score. I think it was Radu, so there you go. 226k at 40. I wouldn't say it was the best boom for Sweden, considering he had the British allies, but not too bad either. Obviously, could have been much higher. It was a really fair boom. I think Peyhah will deleted early. That's why he didn't get the highest score. I guess his intention was to just have everything lined up just in time, so he wouldn't be in a rush. Because usually if you will delete late with Germany, you just have to line up in the choke and just wait for your opponent to just walk into you. But he will delete it a bit earlier, and then he was just lining up just nicely face to face against Fregon, and probably that's the only reason he just have a lower score. Overall, it was a nice game. Let's move on to the next.